Hey guys, it's Kat with Taming the Tangle. And today I'm going to keep with these heavy hitter cards. We're going to talk about the Devil, card 15 in the Major Arcana cycle. It's part of the Shadow Journey. I'll show you a few different representations of the Devil card. All very, very interesting. Look at this guy, he's a little crazy. And one more. So as I've mentioned in other videos, when I teach tarot to students, we talk about the wheel of the cycles of tarot that happen in the cycles of 10. So it's like a clock where 10 is at the top and 5 is at the bottom. And to simplify it, 5 just lets you know you are the furthest away from finishing that journey. You're at the bottom of the wheel, the bottom of the cycle, and it's kind of a big uphill climb to get to the finish of the cycle. This is where you really got to dig in. But 5s can be very, very challenging for that reason, because it's like, some of the cards leading up to the 5 are pretty good, and then you get at the bottom and you're like, oh my gosh, and luckily you don't want to stay there. It's not that pleasant. That you generally have some sort of motivation to move on and to do that harder, deeper spiritual work that gets you up to the 10. I wanted to share that because it's just interesting to see that that is the position that the Devil card holds. He is the number 5 in the Shadow Journey of the Major Arcana. I know it's number 15, but it holds the 5th position when looking at the wheel cycles. And I also like to contemplate when considering the energetics of a card to try to understand them. What are the cards before and after? So the card before the Devil is Temperance. I'll be talking about that in another video. And, it's kind of this card of harmony, of blending everything, allowing all aspects of life, the light and the dark, the happy and the sad, that all of it actually contributes to a beautifully alchemized life. That's how we get to experience a full range of emotions. And on the other side of the Devil is the Tower. Now, the Tower, I've already done a video about the Tower. This is kind of a bit of a chaos card, of like you have no control over everything. It's storm energy, that things are just falling out from under you, that you don't have a sense of yourself and can't figure out what to hold on to. And it can be extremely disorienting. But you have to take a moment to go, why isn't the Tower card in position 15? Why isn't it at the bottom? And it's just something to contemplate. Of course, I'll give you my perspective here. So I'm just choosing which card to show to you. I'll show you these 2 cards. So what is so challenging about the Devil is, we can think of traditional things that maybe we've been told with certain types of upbringings, that he is very tempting, wanting to take you over to the dark side, all of that type of stuff. But in the tarot, you're already on the shadow journey, So what does that mean? And I particularly love how it's shown in this card, the Star Tarot, how there are 2 beings down here at the bottom, and they're completely separated. So I often look at, what is the Devil card when it shows up? What's separating me from myself, from my highest self, from my soul? What seeds of disconnection are being sown? It can be a really potent question, of like, are there any decisions I'm making or conversations that I'm having where I'm actually trying to create separation rather than connection? There's a big distancing. This can come up a lot with addictions. And we can talk to addictions on the level of alcoholism or drug addiction, like some heavy hitters like that. But it can also be things like video games or social media scrolling, eating, and it might not look like a typical addiction in the sense of it may not be compulsive, but it may still be sowing some seeds of disconnection. It might be even watching a movie every night, or TV, or even reading, where it's just like, that la la la, I'm trying to completely unplug. I'm not saying that doesn't serve sometimes, but this is the devil letting you know when it's swung a little too far. You have to do the inner work to find out what it relates to. And it also depends on the other cards in your tarot spread and what's around this card. And it can relate to yourself, it can relate to other relationships in your life. So you have to do a little bit of exploring. You can see that same concept in this card, the Shadowscapes Tarot, where the devil is holding a little heart kind of suspended in his hands. And this person is at the bottom and really curled into a little ball, almost like the fetal position, and feeling totally helpless. But in actuality, she has a key within reach to her bonds. She might even be able to just step out of that hole. So sometimes we're just held in rapture of feeling like we're being held hostage. This is like the card of sometimes feeling like a victim when you feel powerless and out of control, that everything is happening to you, nothing is happening for you. You blame, 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 just projection, projection, projection. And that is a challenging place to be in because you've lost a sense of yourself. And you can see like the devil sometimes loves to tempt you into that place because you can be, I don't know what you do in the world, but working hard or all of these types of things. And there are aspects of if that has swung too far one way, the devil might come in and be like, look, my friend, you can live life a different way. And you're like, why, yes, I can. And, if you've foregone temperance, which was the card before that's letting you know it's good to blend it all together, da, 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 da. The devil is there showing you, you can make different choices. And it's true, you can make different choices. They may not align with your highest self. They may not be the healthiest choices. You can do all the things that you want. You have complete free will and permission until you become beholden to those things. Because that is the hard part, is that we are wired as such at times where you just can't stop eating sugar. You want all the things, or you're like, yes, I want to binge watch 10 seasons of that TV show. It just like something gets triggered in us. So it's a little dance, and that's a dance of knowing yourself. The aspect to that of why the devil is also at the bottom and so challenging is that often what it takes to overcome the devil is willpower. And willpower is something that is a very, very, very small reserve. It's not something to call on that often because that tank can get drained so quickly. And we see that a lot with addicts that have gone way off the deep end, is that they need interventions. And I mean, still, no one can save them. They have to choose it for themselves. That whole idea of hitting rock bottom is that can happen, with the devil card. I mean, we're hoping it doesn't go quite that extreme, that you're spiritually aware, but it can just be a little flag for you. Now, I also want to mention that the devil isn't all bad, because all cards in the tarot have light and shadow aspects to them. They have dynamics. You can read it in different ways. So maybe you are somebody who is a bit of a workaholic. That could show up as devil type energy. But, in our Western culture, we deem that, that gets put up on a pillar of like, yeah, that's a good thing, da, 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 da. I mean, sometimes I'm not validating that. I'm just saying that can be out and about there. In which case, the devil can show up and be like, come on, like, have a little bit of fun. Where can you loosen up? Where can you be a bit more playful, or do those things that you're like, ooh, that is a little taboo, and just kind of let yourself be challenged a little bit, and to understand that life is about pleasure as well. So, and then this guy, this is from Usi, Pagan Otherworlds. When I see this card, it often makes me think of the external temptations. Like he's just covered with all of these different things. So what other people are tempting you to do and lure you into things, lure you away from yourself and the own, what decisions you would make, your values, all of that. And so that can be another interpretation of the devil card, is that you're tuning in a little too much to all of these things outside of you, and you've lost a connection with yourself and your soul self. So you need to realign with that. Speak your truth. The Devil card is a great point to tune into boundaries. Where have they gone lax? You know, what aspect of your boundary fences need to be repaired or strengthened? What's gotten through? You know, that does there need to be some tending there? And so those are just all the different takes. And this, I'll show you the other one that I've already shown you from the Mary L. Tarot. This is just kind of more of a very badass, straightforward type of being. It's pretty amazing, that stare, you know, and it takes some like potent clarity of who you are to get past this card, you know, to sort of go, I hear you, you know, and you're right. There is another way to do life, but I'm choosing to show up this way. I'm not saying I won't enjoy life and its pleasures and all of that, but you know, you got to just like stand up for yourself and make your own choices. The devil will always be there to receive you if you want, like this little, like it's sort of like a temptress or something like that, you know, and that feeling of you have choices, but just to make sure you're consistently making those choices and not letting those things choose you and dictate you. So that's the empowerment part of this card. Now I know it's super challenging to know that the next card is the Tower. Now when we're doing personal growth and development and talking about the cycles of tarot, rarely do things in our lives actually happen exactly in order. We know this, that we are multi-dimensional beings, different things on different layers of being worked. You might be having different things happening in your emotional realm, something else spiritual. Your body might be challenging you or might be like going really great right now. So there's so many different levels when you consider work and family and the different types of relationships, all of that. So it's very rare that things happen in a progression. But it's, you know, there's, when you're in the shadow journey of the Major Arcana and thinking of it as a story, if you've made it past the devil, you know, you would hope to be rewarded. And then the Tower shows up as sort of like testing you. It's a test of faith. And when you watch that video, maybe you've already watched it, it is a lot about trusting in that partnership, that there is something else in the world to have hope and faith in, that you're co-creating this life with a spiritual level. And yes, that means you don't have control over things. The Tower can be a gift. It can show you where things have been overbuilt. And so it's just really interesting though, you know, to contemplate that, of coming from the devil. When you make it past that and you're more deeply connected to yourself, you continue to get tested from the outside world. And it's just to drive you home to that clarity of connection within you and who you are and how you're showing up in this world. Thank goodness after that is the Star. So it starts paving a way. It's not all the challenges are over, but you get some exterior glimpses, some validations of that hope and faith. So these are the tests to help you be right with you. And I hope that you can stand strong and foster more connection than disconnection. Speaking of, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to make a comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions about the Devil card, because he is a little trickster energy too. But I would love to interact with you. I also post blogs on tamingthetangle.com, and I'm on Instagram at taming_the_tangle. Would love to see you there. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.